Hello there. Are you afraid to open the morning paper, watch your evening news, or possibly even surf the internet in fears of finding a story like the one on thenation.com that says last year in the United States of America there were 16 mass shootings? You've probably never heard of most of them, but I guarantee you've heard of Aurora, Colorado, or in my home state of Connecticut, the Newton school shootings. Regardless whether you've heard of any of these shootings, the fact is last year, mass shootings in the United States of America claimed 88 lives. My name is Michael Frechette, and I'd like to talk to you about guns and violent crimes. I know when most of you hear these numbers, your first knee-jerk reaction is, let's get rid of the guns. If we get rid of the guns, then we get rid of violent crime. I know you think this, because according to MSNBC's Morning Joe, they did a poll that said 60% of Americans want stricter gun control laws. But is that really the case? At the same time they did their poll, CBS News did a poll that said 47% of Americans wanted gun control laws, but that number was actually falling. So you might hear these and say, well, which is it? Do we want stricter gun control laws or do we not? To make a decision, you need to have some of the facts. To do that, we're going to see what justfacts.org has to say. They show us the cities of Washington, D.C. and Chicago, Illinois, some of the most famous dangerous cities in the United States of America. In 1976, Washington, D.C. implemented a trigger lock and handgun ban in their city. During the time that they actually implemented that ban, till the time it was shot down as being unconstitutional, their murder rate went up by 73%, while the United States murder rate actually went down by 11%. In 1982, Chicago decided what Washington, D.C. did was actually a good idea, and they put in a handgun ban of their own. But during their time, their homicide rate actually dropped by 11% or 17%, while America's went down by 25%. Which is an interesting little thing, showing both cities, same law, different results. But in Chicago, during the time of their handgun ban, which by the way was actually shot down also as being unconstitutional, their gun crime rate actually went up by 40%. So it shows criminals do not care about your laws. To see the other side of the coin, we're going to go to states that have actually loosened their gun bans. Also, according to justfacts.org, we're going to visit Florida and Texas. In 1987, Florida passed its right to carry law, which states that any citizen who is qualified and had a safety course can carry the weapon. From the time that they've passed that law, their murder rate has actually dropped 36% in their state and 15% nationally. So you can see it's had a much more drastic effect since they're allowing their citizens to carry themselves and defend themselves. In the state of Texas, they passed a similar law in 1996 after seeing the wonderful rates in the state of Florida. And during the time, their murder rate has actually dropped by 30%, while the national average has gone down by 28%. So it's almost the same as the national average. Now, when we look at these numbers, we can see that ever stricter gun laws don't necessarily mean lower violent crime rates. But to get a better view of this, we need to look at the national averages. And according to PewPoliticalTrends.com, or PewSocialTrends.org rather, I apologize for that, 1993, which was the highest murder rate in the United States of America, to the year 2010, murder rates of or firearm homicide rates are actually 49% lower than they used to be. So on an average, Americans are safer than they were 20 years ago, even though there's higher gun ownership rates in the United States and more relaxed laws. So you can see by the numbers I showed you earlier, if a criminal wants to kill you, they're going to do it, whether you have a strict gun control law in effect or not. The only thing that strict gun control laws do is disarm a citizen and keep them from actually being able to protect their families. Hopefully these numbers here that I presented today give you a broader picture and help you make a more educated decision versus just a knee-jerk reaction when you see that somebody has actually died. Thank you.